This week I'm back in Madrid, and after my last Iberia flight to Rio de Janeiro in April, let's just say not everyone loved my economy review. In fact, it stirred up quite the olé online, including one passionate viewer who sent me a very fiery email addressed to Jamie. I've never been a Jamie, not even once. So I thought, in the spirit of fairness and curiosity, why not give Iberia another shot? Maybe it was just a one-off. Today I'm flying business class from Madrid back to London Heathrow's Terminal 5. Will making my connection be smooth sailing? Will Iberia and I finally see eye to eye?
I feel like me and Iberia have a love-hate relationship at the moment.
And what was Iberia's Velasquez business class lounge really like?
Well, this isn't usually how I start my videos, and it's certainly not the production quality that you're used to. I'm currently on a bus. I've landed somewhere in Madrid airport and heading to the terminal. I've now got about 80 minutes to connect over to the dreaded T4S. This one's going to be really fun. My God, am I really up against it. We are wasting time by the second because no one knows what's going on in Madrid airport. I hate this airport with a passion. So, made it through, obviously domestic, so no passport control or anything like that. No bags to pick up, I'm travelling light. Gosh, this is tight. It really is tight. 65 minutes to go. But it was too good an opportunity to pass up the 787 Air Europa product review, and I thought I can kill two birds with one stone. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link up top now. But I am just reliably waiting for the next transfer bus, which apparently is every 5 minutes. And as I got out here, I saw one pull off. So only 5 minutes to wait, hopefully, and we'll be on our way to T4. Then we've got to do, if you remember my Iberia video, gosh, it's just bringing back so many bad memories. If you remember the Iberia video where I went to Rio de Janeiro, you'll remember that we have to get on that train, that automatic people mover from T4 to T4S. I've got to go through passport control, so this is all adding time, but I'm hoping, really hoping, that I can make the flight. Fingers crossed. I don't think I've ever been so happy to see a bus turn up in my life. I think the driver thought I was slightly crazy when I got on, because I did a little dance for joy, but we're on the way to Terminal 4. If anything else wants to throw itself at me today, be my guest.
Yeah, sometimes, just sometimes, I really need to learn to say nothing.
I don't think I've ever been so happy to see the Terminal 4 building again. I never thought I'd say that, ever.
With the unexpected stop and the heavy traffic outside T2 departures, the entire transfer journey took around 15 minutes in total. The bus drops you off at the very end of Terminal 4 departures, and for me it was a mad dash to find Iberia's fast-track security lane.
Thank the Lord for Iberia fast-track security. Through in 90 seconds, Iberia, I could kiss you today. I feel like me and Iberia have a love-hate relationship at the moment. But here we go. Let's get to T4S and see if we can still make this flight. I think we'll do it now. Just my luck. Why is it when you ever need to get somewhere in a rush, everything that can possibly slow you down slows you down?
Fortunately, I didn't have to wait long though. A train arrives usually every 5 minutes, and the journey over to T4S takes just 3 minutes in total.
Sorry for my appearance. That's what happens when you run. Just got to the border control, and there's loads of people in tabard saying, if you have an urgent flight connection, speak to me. So I did, and they wouldn't let me go to the front of the queue. Apparently urgent is your flight is boarding now when you get to the passport control, which, considering some of the gates from here are still a good 20-minute walk, I don't quite know how that works. But the good news is I'm through. I've got a tiny quick, like 5 minutes to show you the Iberia lounge here. And then it's down to board our A330 in business class back to London Heathrow and have a stiff drink. I've earned it.
Before we get into the lounge, a quick shout out to AeroLopa, my go-to resource for accurate, detailed aircraft seat maps. Now I know you're probably already aware, but if not, let me quickly tell you about them. Whether you're flying short haul or long haul, economy or first, AeroLopa gives you up-to-date layouts for tons of airlines, right down to seat numbers, galley positions and toilet locations. No guesswork, just beautifully clear, reliable cabin maps that help you pick the best seat on board. I use it for every flight I book, and honestly, if you're even slightly into aviation or just want a better flying experience, then I highly recommend you go and check it out. That's www.aerolopa.com, and I'll put the link in the description below. Access to Iberia's Velázquez Lounge is available with the business class ticket, Iberia Plus status, or equivalent one-world tier. Lockers are available if you need to stow away your bags, and from there the lounge splits into two main areas. Now the lounge is super spacious, airy and really well designed. There's lots of natural light and runway views also. There's a wide variety of seating, from large bucket-style chairs to dining tables and leather lounge seats, all equipped with power outlets and USB-A ports. For those needing rest, there's a dedicated dark and quiet room with chaise lounges. And just beside that, a row of shower suites available for use at any time.
So I'm here sat in Iberia's Velázquez Premium Lounge over at T4S, and I've got about 5 minutes. I've had a little rum and coke. The lounge staff said, look, it's fine, you've got plenty of time, 5-10 minutes, make sure you eat something. So they've been really looking after me, so I can't slate Iberia for that. So I don't know if you can see it, that's what I've gone for. I've had like a Greek salad and a spinach cannelloni, which look quite nice. The food is a bit basic, there's not lots of it, but what there is looks good, if that makes sense. And the strawberry gazpacho, which I love gazpacho anyway, but it just sounds unique. And then topping it off with a mango and passion fruit white chocolate mousse. So I'm in here for about 5 minutes, and it's down to the gate to board the business class service back on the Iberia A330 from here in Madrid to London Heathrow. And I am ready to sit back and relax and take you on the nice journey with me. I don't like doing running through terminal videos. I leave that to the other YouTubers. I like to be here in time, so this has been an experience to say the least.
There was Brita filtered water available on tap, along with a coffee machine using beans from the Italian brand Lavazza. A selection of teas from Dharma were also available, alongside fresh juices and a wide range of soft drinks. Towards the back, there was a large bar area featuring an impressive selection of spirits, all available on a free pour basis. I couldn't resist the Ronza Kappa Solera rum, one of my all-time favourites. It pairs brilliantly with a splash of Coke and a few slices of fresh orange. Trust me on that. There was a fridge full of beers, some mainstream, some more premium, and opposite to this were two fully stocked wine fridges. There were some real gems in here. There was sherry on ice, Carver but no champagne in sight, and 3 white wines on ice too. The food ranged from wraps and sandwiches to fresh fruit. There were olives, a variety of salads including Russian and Greek, hot items such as this beef dish, and a variety of vegetarian dishes and options as well. There was a range of pastries, desserts and sweet treats, as well as this sweet and popcorn station towards the back of the lounge. But my very short stay in the lounge had come to an end, and it was time to board my flight back to London Heathrow.
Right, so after all that rushing, not necessary, flight is delayed. So now due to take off at 16:30, so 45 minutes behind schedule. I've just asked the check-in staff because there was a complete absence of any announcements or anything at all, just went to delayed. So everybody's rushed down here and it's in the queue, and there's two staffs just sat behind the desk just looking at everybody, and nobody's had the foresight really just to come forward with a bit of communication and say, this is why, this is what's going on. Now, I know I'm going to get some abuse for this, or I'm going to be accused of doing a hit job on Iberia, but genuinely, like, the communication is dreadful. Just talk to your passengers. All you have to say is, the flight is delayed. The flight's delayed because of X, Y, Z. Is there anything you need? Is there anything we can do? It's really, really simple. It takes 2 minutes. Put it out as an automated announcement if you like. You don't even have to have any human interaction, but just some form of communication. Anyway, keeping things positive in the light of the moment. New boarding pass. Seat changed from 4 Lima to 5 Lima. So I'm not too sure if it's still an A330 or if it's going to change to an A350, which would be a bit of an upgrade. Dear me. Maybe it's just my luck with Iberia. Maybe every time I fly Iberia I come into an issue, but my experiences have been up, but far more frequently down when I fly this airline. So yeah, sat waiting, and I'll keep you posted on the status of my flight back home.
Well, at least a bit of good news arrived. We had indeed been bumped over to the spare A350, which was quite nice. The cabin is arranged in a 1-2-1 formation, and I'm in seat 5 Lima today, which is on the right-hand side next to the window. I seem to have recently gone on a roll of boarding aircraft via stairs opposed to air bridges, and I must admit, it is much more fun. You get to appreciate the sheer size of these aircraft, and the A350 is by no means small. Today's aircraft is part of Iberia's Talent a Bordo programme, which sponsors the Spanish national football team, and passengers in premium economy class can enjoy seats with the names of national team players. Once on board, it was time to locate my seat, and here was home, 5 Lima, for the next few hours. The seat includes a dedicated overhead bin, and the cabin feels light and spacious. To the left of the seat is a reading light with multiple brightness levels, and just below that, a universal power outlet, USB-A port, and headphone jack. A set of noise-cancelling headphones was provided, along with 2 small storage cubicles and a literature pocket. The seat features 2 full windows with manual window blinds and an impressive 18-inch 4K in-flight entertainment system. To the left there's an IFE remote, though mine wasn't working when I boarded, and above that are the seat controls. Directly in front is a fabric-covered footrest with space beneath for shoe storage. The tray table is built into the seat structure and releases and folds out like this. There's also a bottle holder, although this was quite filthy, and an additional side table to the left, complete with a dedicated drinks holder. The leather upholstered armrests add a premium touch, and yes, there's even a coat hook, although you know my feelings about these.
So all aboard this Iberia A350, not A330, and I'm sad to say, it's been a bit of a strange start. I just had some crew come round and tell me to immediately stop filming and that it's illegal to film on an aircraft. Bit of a strange one, but attitude seems to have changed when I mentioned that I used to be ex-cabin crew and said, look, I'm not, doing anything sinister here, it's just making a film about my experience in business class. And they now seem to have relinquished a bit and gone back to the galley, but not a great first impression to get that the moment you sit in your seat. It's not like I thrust a camera in anybody's face or made anybody, feel uncomfortable, so that was a strange start. So after that rather frustrating start, the doors are closed and we are good to go. So, initial impression of this seat, actually it's quite comfortable. It's a bit like an armchair style seat, so I feel like I'm in my armchair at home, but it's soft and it's comfortable. The only strange thing is where your legs go, they sort of sit at a bit of an angle, so they angle out towards the window rather than being sort of directly ahead, and it looks directly ahead when you look at it, but when you actually in reality put your legs up to rest, they sort of go to the right. But yeah,
all strapped in, about to taxi out, so I'll film the takeoff as always, and then I'll tell you all about the Iberia Business Class experience once this trip gets started. But yeah, I find it difficult when I feel a bit of animosity from the crew. I like to think I'm a nice, respectful, reasonable person. That's the way I try and live my life anyway. So to be immediately met with confrontation on board an aircraft is a bit odd. Sad, really. So just waiting for the crew to start their first service. I can see them setting up now, drinks and food, and we've had a menu before takeoff, which looks quite nice. Grilled chicken breast with marinated lemon, or a panzerotti pasta filled with mozzarella. As a cheese lover, the pasta's probably going to get my vote, depending on how much they've loaded, we'll see. So I shall sit here and wait further instruction. Unfortunately, I haven't had any more interactions with the crew because my initial interactions were not positive. Really bad attitude, and quite rude, to be fair. I've got no issue with... I always let them know what I'm doing, and I've got no issue explaining myself and providing my ID and all of that. I never involve crew if they don't want to be. I never film crew's faces. As you've seen, I blur a lot of things out for privacy reasons. So to be met with such force wasn't a nice start to the flight. But all that aside, let's hope that that was just a one-off and things pick up from here. So Iberia have knocked the catering out of the park on this flight. It's no shock that they use dough and co. It's probably why the food is so good. I went for the pasta, as I alluded to earlier, and that was a panzerotti filled with mozzarella in a sweet potato sauce with roasted pumpkin, and it was, excuse my French, bloody good. Really, really nice. Starter was a smoked salmon, avocado and olive tapenade starter. The most ridiculous portion of salmon ever, so come on, Doe & Co. I know things are tight at the moment, but up the portions of salmon, please, on the starter. And the dessert was a dark chocolate and cherry cake, very similar to a Black Forest Gatto. Also really, really nice. And that was served with some bread, warm bread. I went for the white bread with Spanish olive oil. I had 2 of those actually. The olive oil was really, really good. And then I finished off with an orange juice and a glass of water, which was really nice. And I now have a cup of tea and a 70% dark chocolate, which was handed out after the tea service, the tea and coffee service. So really nice service flow, really good food, and the cabin crew have warmed up a little bit. I was just having a bit of back and forth with Jose, and I think he may have realised that, you know, I'm not as sinister as I look. So that's nice. It made me feel a bit more welcome. So yeah, I'm going to sit back, have my cup of tea. I'm going to go and do the toilet review in a second, just double check what the toilets are like on here, because I've had quite a lot of traffic in and out, so let's see if Iberia are keeping on top of those. And then we've got about 45 minutes left. We're currently over Saint-Nazaire, nailing these French pronunciations. So not too long to go before touching down into Heathrow, and it was a pleasant surprise to get this A350 today. I was expecting an A330, so sometimes when things don't work out as an aircraft swap, sometimes it works out in my favour. Well, not much to say other than much cleaner than when I last flew Iberia, so that's good to see. Also this really nice hand cream, which smells amazing actually. But there's no different sized toilets for business class passengers or any with a window, but at least they're clean. That's what you can ask for. Once back from the toilet review, I put the seat into fully lie-flat mode. And whilst no pillows or blankets are offered from Iberia on this short hop to Heathrow, it was still quite comfortable. It does somewhat feel wider than other business class products, with a good amount of space for your feet in the well of the seat. All in all, I think this seat would make for a comfortable sleep on a long haul flight. Let's take a moment to talk about the in-flight entertainment, because Iberia's system really impressed me. It's also incredibly responsive to the touch with virtually no lag. Navigating the system is intuitive with a great mix of recent movies, TV shows, music and games. The screen itself is crisp, bright and super high resolution, 4K if we're being really specific. A real standout compared to many European carriers. So over the English Channel, about 30 minutes to go before we touch down into Heathrow, and I imagine the seatbelt signs are going to come on any minute now, so just a little bit of time to tell you about what I paid for this flight. So, a mixture of Avios and cash. I paid £11,750 Avios and £29.20 sterling in taxes and fees, and that was the middle ground. Now, if you're going to use Avios, of course do what you like, because ultimately I don't know your circumstances. I know a lot of people that just get 20, 30, 40,000 Avios and want to blow them. I know other people that want to save them up, like me and my husband are like that. We like to save our Avios and build them, but you have to also remember you never know when they're going to devalue. So I always say the sweet spot is the middle rate. So if you can up the cash and fees just a little bit and reduce your Avios, the middle ground is often where the best value is. If you rocked up to Madrid today, or even if you booked on the Iberia website yesterday, the equivalent cash price was around €800. So it's a considerable saving. It really is. Would I pay €800 for this flight? Absolutely not. I would slum it in economy, because it's not worth it because of the time. But you know, if you've got a few Avios lying around and you want to treat yourself, I highly recommend it. And if you want to replicate this journey, then you can. This is a daily flight. There's more than one flight obviously with Iberia and BA between Madrid and London Heathrow and London Gatwick, but the wide body service is between Madrid and Heathrow, and then it returns back to Madrid as we land. So now you have to remember, if you do want to be on a wide body aircraft, the airline won't cover you if they change the equipment to a narrow body aircraft, but often 9 times out of 10 this goes as a wide body because it's used for cargo and freight, so you usually get lucky. And it's normally an A350, sometimes an A330. It was an A330 for me today, and it ended up being an A350. So as we fly into London Heathrow, a little bit behind schedule but with a full belly, I've been James Warren Oliver, and I'll see you in the next one. So, while the flight got off to a rocky start with delays, poor communication, and a rather frosty welcome from the cabin crew, who weren't thrilled about me filming on board, things did eventually turn around. Once it was clear I wasn't up to anything odd, the atmosphere shifted. The cabin crew became warm, attentive, and genuinely hospitable, serving up some truly excellent food. The A350 Business Class seat was modern, quiet, and incredibly comfortable. And although this isn't Iberia's newest business class seat, it did make for a smooth and restful ride back to London Heathrow. Would I recommend Iberia's A350 Business Class? Yes, especially if you can snag it at a good price. It's a proper long-haul product on a short route, and that's always a win in my book. Thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, feel free to like, comment and subscribe for more honest airline reviews and other trip reports coming in the future. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.